You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. 1-402-799-1811 is our message line number. For some reason or another, we're all showing our drinks to each other, and I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know what Ben's got, but it's in a copper cup.
It is. It almost looks like a Moscow Mule.
I was going to ask you a Moscow Mule.
It's a little early for that, big guy.
I was going to say, mine's a coffee mug from Moscow.
Jeff, yours is a boomer mug, man.
Jeff has a boomer mug.
It's not a boomer mug.
It's a boomer mug.
Oshkosh right
totally
there.
is.
It's a
totally
boomer
is.
mug. It's totally a boomer mug. Who flies airplanes mostly? It's boomers. Just saying.
So I need to point out here that for the first time, we are all here together.
We are. So we got Tombstone over there yapping his sonorous jaws. We've got Jeff, Mr. Boomer himself.
Somehow I've been designated the group boomer this morning.
31-year-old boomer.
And
This is older than all of us.
And the newbie, we'll call him the newbie just for today, Ozzy over on the other side.
Hello, you beautiful people.
And me, well, I'm here. I'm Aaron. Guys, it's good to be all together.
This is terrifying.
Is it, though? How many state and or federal regulations are we having by just being on the same audio channels?
No,
Well, that depends on if you're off your parole or not.
It's not Jeff we need to worry about.
I was going to say. Which one of us has spent a night or two in prison?
Yeah.
Jail, lockup, whatever it was.
I mean, what do they technically call that? Is it lockup? Is it jail?
I think
drunk
the big
tank.
house.
I was in.
Did they take you away in a paddy
I
wagon?
was in the jail.
Tombstone.
No,
jail,
I was driven away in a cruiser.
Tombstone, I'm going to ask you
I
this
had my
one
own
question.
personal ride. Yes,
And I've always wanted to ask you this.
Oh boy. No, I did not.
Was it?
I did not get assaulted in prison.
No. I was just going to ask, how similar was it to Shawshank Redemption?
Oh, it was worse and it was better all at the same time.
Really?
Or the Green Mile.
So I was only in a. I was.
He wasn't
only,
on death row.
I haven't seen the Green. Yeah,
You haven't seen the Green Mile?
I haven't seen the Green Mile. I need to watch it. The Shawshank Redemption, I was only in holding cells, and holding cells are awful because you're in there with like a bunch of other smelly dudes, and nobody has, you're just in. Everybody's transient. Nobody knows when they're going to get out. So I didn't know when I was going to get out until it was time to go.
Did you see Prison Mike?
Is that like Magic Mike, but in prison?
Mike.
No.
No.
Abort.
You got
Maybe he did experience Shawshank Redemption.
Have you never seen The Office?
This is the opposite of the stay on target voiceover that we need. Okay, this is the abort. Eject.
Matt, this Prison Mike was
Prison Mike was awesome.
One of many Michael
I can't remember
Scott's
Michael
characters.
Scott's
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so I haven't seen The Office in probably 7 years.
Why did we let you on the show?
So
I know.
So what was interesting is like the people that I met a couple people that were actually like career criminals and they were totally chill. The people that were in there for DUI and random other stuff were not predictable and not chill. So the career criminals are like
Been there, done that.
yeah, they're like no big deal. Like they're just there to do their thing and get going. So
the weird thing is no one was guilty.
yeah, everybody
was
That's
innocent.
actually not true. That's actually not true. Like
Those are the people you have to be terrified about.
I can't believe we keep coming back to this, but
I know.
But again,
I know.
again, the career criminals were like totally they owned it. Like the one guy was telling me about boosting cars and all the different ways he had to steal clothes from a Burlington coat factory and all this stuff. And
the funny thing is the guy was in on check fraud. The guy was there on check fraud, but
what's that?
The guy was just there for passing
DUI. The guys that were there for DUI were like they were in denial. So
that doesn't surprise me though.
No,
I mean that
that's because they didn't remember.
You have to have a certain amount of denial to drive drunk, anyways.
Right, exactly.
So
Oh man,
Anyways,
guys,
let's talk about something happy.
so much to get to on the show today. We've got to talk about the hurricane. We've got to talk about Tombstone's boating adventures, which still landlubbers so far.
Still loving on the land.
Still loving on the land. It's good.
We're going forward slowly.
We get to find out how
Very
much
slowly.
each one of us pay for a date.
Yeah.
And then how mad our wives are going to be after they hear the show.
I need to point out
How much we actually pay, or how much we tell our wives we pay?
Oh,
Well, that's
a good point.
yeah, exactly.
So I need to point out here that there was a time in which we were all not married, and now we are all married. And I'm not. I was very uncertain that date would ever arrive back when we were in the college, but here we are.
That was very profound.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
You
We
realize
were not
the
married,
only
and then we
reason-
were married.
I was the last one.
but
Yes,
but
thank
I
you
was
for
gonna
that.
say, you realize the only uncertainty in that equation was you.
Because I was pretty sure I was getting married.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because Mathis
Aaron,
was
you were
just
already
straight up
locked down.
whipped. He was
Yeah.
just straight
Oh,
up whipped.
yes,
We
you
were
were.
in
No,
college.
he was
You were.
well spoken for, well loved.
I
Never-
had a plan, guys. You call it
reason
whipped.
you
I had a
think
plan.
you say you had a plan, but Alyssa also had a plan.
Yeah, right. I worked a good plan.
You were the plan.
The reason you didn't see Mathis in college was not because he was in the library studying. It was because he was with Alyssa.
I was in the social parlor studying, actually.
The couch
Hey,
factory.
so here's the funny thing. Most people, their grades drop like a rock after they're dating. Mine increased. I got A's, B's, and C's when I was dating, mostly B's.
Listen,
That's
just because your wife
you
wrote all
found
your
somebody-
papers doesn't
I was
count.
gonna say
I'm
that's
not
because you found
surprised.
somebody that was clearly your intellectual superior.
Alyssa,
Well,
to
on
help
some
you
things.
out.
Alyssa is no joke one of the smartest people I've ever met,
She
and
is.
she's laser focused.
Yeah, and so,
she's
she
kind of
helped.
scary to
she
be
helped.
honest.
She helped on a lot of that. I think the only
And
thing
she's foreign, so what bride website did you order her from?
Oh,
Because
man.
there's no
Oh,
way
no.
you could land her on your
Oh,
own.
come on.
Oh no!
He thought
that's
funny.
loving
savage.
it.
That's
He's loving it.
savage. Well done.
She's
Well done.
She's American. She just
Whoa.
Just grew up in a
You
foreign
can't-
she went
country.
through that whole import
You know what?
export thing.
Don't give me
Jeff-
the details. It ruins the joke.
It does. It really does.
When she
Okay.
arrives at your door tomorrow morning, you can ask her.
She will.
I'm
Okay,
not
so-
afraid of Alyssa. That was a dig. That was a dig at Mathis. That was a dig at Mathis. She'll love it.
So my grandfather was a submariner. I can't say submariner because that's not.
Submariner.
Submariner.
No.
It doesn't
that-
sound right, but it is.
No.
right.
I was told by a
Yes.
submariner that I can't say that. That's not correct.
So it's
Really?
Submariner?
Yeah, it's submariner. Anyway, so
Weird.
I was talking with a guy who spent time on subs.
It's like a
Boom,
picture
that's
that-
better. I know. And so my grandfather was 5 foot, like 5'8", tiny little man.
So taller than you.
No, Tombstone. I'm coming in at around.
Roll
I'm
call
coming
this
in around
morning.
5'12", 6 foot.
Height's not.
Anyways,
This is going to be the whole show right here,
I apologize. That was uncalled for.
but really funny.
Okay, we got to let him get through the story.
So he's tiny little man. He served in the Pacific on submarines. He was torpedo man, not sure of his rank or anything, but he ended up going into the sub school and teaching torpedomanship at the sub base in Groton, Connecticut, to all the cadets coming up. And the first time he met Alyssa, he like eyes her up as she walks in, pulls me off to the side, like he waves his finger to bring me down. He always sat in his chair, and he waved me down, and he goes, "Careful, she could beat you up." And I'm like, "Oh man,
Yes.
that's so funny."
Yeah,
That's so funny. It's could happen. Not gonna.
Although you have been
That's
working
great.
out. Is
Alyssa-
that the true motivation for your workout routine, Mathis?
Right,
He's
right,
trying to equalize the relationship.
Equalize with your wife.
right, right.
Okay,
Oh,
moving
man.
right along before I say something I shouldn't say.
Yeah, that's a good call.
A technique that's worked so many times for us.
It has. Kind of. Guys,
So-
did you ever hear about the 40,000 or 70,000 foot hole up in Russia? They call it the well to hell.
I thought it was called the Kremlin, but
I thought we were going to talk about how much it costs to go.
Well, we are. I'm just introing other stories right now.
This is the same thing.
If you're unlucky in love,
how much it costs to go,
you might as well be throwing your money down.
As well be down. We've also got Florida Man stories. Something about Elon Musk. Someone threw something on the list about Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is a shady dude.
Is that a new cologne?
No.
Ooh, I bet it is. Google it.
It's appearing on the
Elon
shelves of
Musk.
Macy's right next to Covfefe.
Macy's.
We got to talk about the Amazon fires today.
What fires?
Definitely.
Well, that's basically the question.
Do we
Tombstone.
have to talk about them?
We need to dispel the myths. Because
Mythbusters.
and that's another story that we probably won't have time to get to. Do you guys remember Jessie from Mythbusters?
Yes.
I actually didn't remember.
No, actually,
her.
no. I don't remember her. I remember the other girl.
So she came,
But she was more
in,
behind the scenes, though.
Jessie came in when the other girl was pregnant.
Okay.
And
Right.
went on maternity leave and ended up staying on in the background as like a fabricator for a while, even after the other girl came back.
I saw pictures of some of the stuff she welded, and she was an absolute artist.
She was. She absolutely was. Anyways, Jessie, she died this week on a... hey, Trevor, I got a little one right here. Just came sneaking up on me. She passed away this week. She was test driving a rocket car in the deserts of Oregon.
Which is insane.
She was trying to
set
hit
a land speed record.
the land speed record. Yeah, she
was trying to break her own land speed record.
Yeah, because she currently holds the land speed record she's not quite the fastest female. There was one other faster, I think.
Was there?
If I read the article right. But she was trying to break her own record.
Right. There was a faster woman in the 70s, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw.
And
what kind of speeds are we talking about?
She was going for like 470 or something.
It was like 470, 480, something like that. Just super slow.
Yeah,
typical commute to work speeds.
Yeah.
Faster than an airplane.
I think I read that like the track is like 13 miles long. So I mean, the amount of speed that she has to build up just to get to that, and then you're talking about like halfway through that track, you need to be decelerating.
Yeah. So
at least a good portion, maybe 3/4 of the way through the track, you need to be decelerating or something. I mean, there's just a giant
pool at the end of the track.
Right. So with land speed records, here's the interesting thing, guys. Land speed records, in order to be tested, you have to go down the track, pass the finish line, turn around, and come back and make the same time.
You got to make the run two
different directions in case.
And I don't know what that is.
And it's the average
elevation.
They take the average of the two together, and that's your fastest time. And so Combs, 39 years old, not much older than us guys. She earned her fastest woman title in 2013 when she hit 398 miles an hour.
That is nuts.
I can't even imagine that on the ground. 398 miles an hour.
Right. That's if you hit a pebble, you're gone. Well,
so, yeah. Oh, yeah. So these airplanes, or I shouldn't say airplanes, these vehicles.
These airplanes.
Are jet-powered vehicles.
A jet car.
Jet car, which is made out of like a modified airplane. And so you basically have the wings cut off. You have struts with wheels put down off of it. And this sucker flies along the ground.
Yeah.
It's got to be touching the ground, though, or it wouldn't be a land speed record.
You're talking about 52,000 horsepower.
Oh, my goodness.
They talk about it in horsepower. Usually, if it's a jet, they would just be going pounds of thrust.
No, it says it in horsepower because it's a car.
In the article, they probably dumbed it down for the masses.
It's true.
Right.
I'm just
imagining 52,000 horses pulling a car.
It's a lot of horses.
That is a lot.
She actually hit 483 horsepower
miles an hour.
On this episode on this run.
He still didn't catch it.
It's okay.
But mechanical problems meant the record couldn't be validated. So which stinks because she made the record and then tried again and then ended up dying.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because the first time she did it one way, and it had mechanical issues, so she couldn't do the second way, and that's why it wasn't validated.
Right, exactly.
So
then she had to run it again, and then ended up perishing. Fastest woman though was 512 miles an hour in the Alvord Desert. Now I didn't know, guys, that Oregon actually had desert.
It does quite a lot.
I didn't know that. I
didn't know that
had
either.
No idea.
I will send you a link.
I know it's got trails, but I didn't know part of that was desert.
I will send you a link because I am the geographic locations master.
So this is what? This is north of Nevada, right?
No, but Ben and I are having our own little conversation.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that was the wrong copy paste. Sorry.
Yeah, what in the world? You're sending like
was that your programming language? You just hashtag
learn to code, Tombstone. Learn to code.
I don't read binary.
Don't even get me started.
What was that? C++?
No, that's not even a thing. It's just I copied the name of the thing so I could find it later.
It's copying. He's copying code. It's copying other people's code.
That's the name of the language that I was working on. Oh. Okay, that's the place.
I think I'm there.
You're probably there. If you look at the southern part of Oregon and then you look for a salt flat.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, I found it. With a single road.
What happens
going
when I just Google these numbers? Will it recognize that they're?
It will.
It will. You gotta plug it. Oh yeah, look at that. You can plug it into Google Maps.
No, it'll plug right into Google.
It recognized it. I just straight Googled it and it recognized it.
That's
pretty awesome.
I do it just about every day when I'm working, because we'll end up with with GPS codes in Bing that don't correlate with Google. So we'll throw it in there.
Cool.
Where are we going from here?
All right. So when we get back from
break, because this was just our intro.
When we get back from break, we're going to discuss how much does it cost to go on a date. Mine are free.
It's really quite funny. I was in bed sleeping at 2 o'clock this morning. My wife comes in and says, "Oh, the shop's been someone ran into the shop." And I said, "Oh, what?" So I jumped out of bed and all I had was my undies on. And I've walked out the front and I've seen the car smashed and I've seen the bloke walking back to the car. Oh, well, I tried stopping him and say, "Hey, mate, don't be taking off. Like, you've just crashed into the shop." Oh, and he goes, "Oh, mate, I fell asleep behind the wheel." And I'm like, "Yeah, righto, mate. Well, you still don't be fleeing the scene." And he goes, "Don't be a hero, mate." I wasn't trying to be a hero. I was just chasing him down the street. And
you ran down the street in your jocks?
Yeah, in my undies. Yeah, correct. Chasing down the street in my undies, and then he started getting too far. And I'm like, "Oh, well, I better catch up to him quicker and come back home and grab my car." And started chasing him up the street in my little purple car.
You know, all good superheroes wear their jocks on the outside, so it kind of fits the brief. Yeah. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, but I had nothing on bar me jocks.
Okay, I need to ask a question.
That is
fire.
Aaron.
Fire.
I'll ask Aaron because I know you don't sleep with clothes on.
Wow, that's disturbing, man. Number one, I don't know how you know that. Number
Why
two,
do you know that?
Number two, he lived with me for how long?
Am I wrong though?
Maybe.
Hold that thought.
Say you are.
It's not 100% germane to what we're talking about, but it's only related. So if you heard a bump in the night, and you had to grab your piece and go figure out what's going on, would you stop to put pants and belts on or not?
Heck no, I don't care.
Okay,
I'm heading out with my boxers, man.
Jeff, pants and belt or no?
No. If there's a serious bump in the night, it's the 45 with the light on it and the extra eyeball melting flashlight and boxers, man.
Ben,
go to it.
Are you even allowed to own a pistol in New Jersey?
I cannot actively go after people in New Jersey,
even if they're in your house.
Even if they're in the house, yes. Unless you have to be able to get out of your house at all costs. The only way that you can actually go after somebody or defend yourself is if you have no other means of escaping and they are actively coming after you. Right.
So his entire house is set up as a fatal funnel to his bedroom. And there's no windows in his bedroom.
I mean, I'm not saying there's not.
And then he screams, "Come and get me, punk."
Yeah. In my boxers. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Make my day.
As we're all in our boxers.
It only occurred to me because I just feel absolutely naked unless I'm wearing pants and a belt. And,
Well, yes.
No.
But I don't.
You gotta have.
Aaron's like, no. Metaphorically, I am fully clothed. No. I have a pistol. Everything is fine.
I might, depending on the size of the bump, take time to throw on. The vest
it does
to my bed.
Like it depends.
Jeff's
like
Jeff's like throwing on a tactical suit.
It's like
Jeff
airplane boxers.
Jeff has a little hanger above his bed. He sits up and presses a button. The armor drops on over his arms, down over his head, and he's ready to rock and roll.
It's like my spine too much, and I wouldn't be able to get out of the bed.
Jeff's got like a spring-loaded bed, like in Wallace and Gromit, that just rocks him down. Come on, suckers! As his two attack dogs are going after people.
Okay.
Oh man. So how much does that cost you guys?
The only reason I bring that up is because of the intro of the guy running around in his underwear. I'm like, I think I would have stopped to put on pants, me personally.
If I was going outside to investigate a car accident, I'd have put on pants. If I'm like something just kicked down my front door,
decent exposure.
Exactly.
You know what though? I think the brother from Southwest Texas is perfectly fine doing that because, why not? Why not? If you can scare somebody because of what you're wearing. Oh, you missed the episode last week with Southwest Texas. Yeah, we're turning Australian to Southwest Texas.
Yeah,
by buying it.
I like it.
Aaron, did you just make a note?
Plans for Ohio, right?
Did you just make a note about something?
No, I didn't. I'm prepping my waffle maker over here.
I can't see it. The microphone's in the way.
I'm so sorry. If I could move stuff out of the way. There you can see it.
Dip your microphone down just a little bit, just real quick.
I got my waffle iron there.
I see it.
Don't move your big head with it.
Got the waffle iron there.
All right, do the rest of the show just like that.
I'm prepping the waffle iron because I am going to on the air be waffle ironing Krispy Kreme donuts.
Ooh.
Because we talked about that last week.
That
sounds amazing.
Genius.
Yeah, so we're doing this like this. So guys, continue with the conversation.
What's this? I didn't get a waffle iron and some Krispy Kreme.
It's not my fault you're not in studio today.
I mean, I expect overnight Amazon deliveries to show up at my door.
Of waffle irons and Krispy Kreme.
I agree.
Can you get Krispy Kreme delivered?
Oh, I'm looking.
Like I'm really
DoorDash
maybe. That would be really expensive though.
It
costs you like twice what the donuts cost.
Wendy's does free DoorDash.
The donuts are incredibly expensive anyways.
Wendy's will do free DoorDash.
They are not as expensive as DoorDash.
I pull up there.
Glazed is not that bad.
I pull up there and I'm like, I need 2 dozen glazed donuts because
And it's like what, $20?
Yeah, it was like $20, and I'm sitting there going, whoa.
Apparently, there is a delivery for Krispy Kreme donuts for select Krispy Kreme donut shops.
Oh, I was talking like mail order Krispy Kreme.
I mean, you could mail them out to people. This could be our
like your bride.
Okay, so I missed that. What did
she's gonna die laughing if she listens to the show this week, which I hope she does.
He said he was talking about mail order Krispy Kremes, and I said, "What, like your bride?"
I got it now.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Oh goodness.
Look, she still yells at me in German every once in a while.
That has to be a terrifying. That has to be a terrifying. Because German language, like even if she was yelling "I love you," it just sounds terrifying.
That's
in
what
German.
I just said.
Which is why I want to learn German.
Everything's terrifying in German.
As the saying goes, life is short, so tell your family you love them, but life is also terrifying, so tell them in German.
Okay,
I've not heard that saying before.
Guys, we got to talk about this story here. About the I think it was Tombstone. Tombstone, our Twitter man, our Twitter.
I am the surfer of the Twitters.
Yes, the surfer of the Twitters.
He does it so we don't have to.
Found a beautiful screenshot picture. I don't know what it is of the price of the average.
And I'm the boomer.
Price of the average date in the USA. Some of these numbers are ridiculous, guys.
This is insane.
$300 for a date in New York.
Do you think they just mix it up with the price of an average day in the U.S. referring to government debt? Do you think maybe that was the confusion? Or
so I think the question is, where is this data coming from? Because this definitely seems like it's been selected from a higher tier of dating person than.
Well, they probably interviewed New York and Beverly Hills.
My question is, what are we doing on this date? Is this like you're going out to dinner and then a movie, or is this like you're going to a concert,
like a really nice like date, like maybe go to a really nice restaurant and then go to a concert or a play or an opera if you're in New York.
So basically, what I'm seeing is South Dakota doesn't have anything that's really nice.
Apparently not. Either that or they're just that cheap.
So South Dakota, I love you, but I'm seeing this number here.
Twitter user Cody Jarrett remarks, a bag of pizza rolls and a sixer of Milwaukee's Best Light will get you laid in South Dakota, which is a total of $38.27. Yeah. South Carolina's number.
That's some expensive pizza rolls.
Those are premium pizza rolls. But if
you're not going to Aldi with that one.
No,
South Carolina's number is around $84, which to me still seems really
okay. So what do you normally spend on a date, Tombstone? I mean, I know you're cheap, but
I don't go on dates anymore because I have children that I can't give them away.
We'll have to edit that out so CPS doesn't show up.
I have tiny. I have tiny kids that have to eat every hour, 2 hours.
That does put a cramp in the style, doesn't it?
Yeah. So,
but you love them. Lots.
I do. I love them immensely, but I can't go to a movie anymore with my wife. It
does make it challenging.
I think so. I'm just gonna go with a nice date maybe after we got married, because before we got married, it wasn't super expensive. I'm trying to think. I mean,
usually you're like dropping a bunch of coin to win her over, and then you get cheap once you get married.
I mean, I spent a lot of money driving all over the East Coast of the United States, but other than that, not so much. So I think the nicest date we've gone on was maybe like $60 for a night, and that would be a really nice dinner for us here in town. And then I should say probably moderately nice. I don't even know what a really nice dinner would look like. A moderately nice dinner.
Like, we swung by the Chick-fil-A.
Listen, for two people at Chick-fil-A, you can spend $20 really easily.
Oh, easy.
To get milkshakes.
Oh yeah,
heaven forbid you take your entire family.
If we go to like a sit-in restaurant and then go to a movie, you're talking about like $60, $65.
Yeah,
that would be probably the top end of our expenditure, and usually it's less than that. Honestly, our dates these days are we put the kids in the car so they go to sleep, we go to QT, and then we drive around for an hour and a half. That's a date.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's kind of how it is.
I did forget one factor into mind. So Nebraska's coming in at $48.91, which seems kind of right.
Yeah,
for cow shipping and driving through a cornfield. I don't.
Oh, that's good. So
that's just the price of gas. That's all that is.
Yeah, $48. That's the price of diesel for my pickup truck, man. Oh, man. Which is unfortunately true sometimes. No, I was thinking like
if you throw in a new Snap shirt. Snap
that's right. Yeah. It's even better when you flex though, man, and the snaps pop.
That's right.
Walmart shirts are getting expensive.
No, I was like, it's the waffle iron's ready. Hold that thought. Continue your conversation.
So for
you
New
had
Jersey,
manipulated the conversation. So
so what I was saying was like our biggest cost is babysitting.
Yeah,
one of our biggest costs is babysitting.
I would guess that is not factored into this cost of a date here, though.
That's why I live about a mile and a quarter away from the grandparents.
That is genius. That is genius.
Yes. So we're 2 miles from one set and 25-30 minutes from the other set.
So what do your grandparents do when you show up with somebody else's kids, Jeff?
Oh, we just dropped the dogs off.
I didn't even catch that at first. I was like, oh, that's nice for Jeff. Wait a second. Kids.
He set that up so beautifully.
It depends on the day. Some days I have 2 kids. Some days I have 6 kids. Some days I have whatever,
I was like, we have an amazing babysitter, and we're willing to pay her whatever she wants, basically. But yeah,
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like it's expensive though. It adds up.
Yeah.
And so you add that to the cost of a date, and it's like
one of the people I follow on Twitter quoted this map, which did you put it on the show already, on the show page already, Aaron?
The map of
the date price.
I didn't put that on the show page. No, not yet.
Okay. All right. Whenever we get around to it. Anyways, He says, like, he basically said, and this is a person who's not very social outgoing. He's like, I basically can't afford. He lives in California, so he's like, I can't afford to go on any dates at this price. And I was like, yes, but it depends. So if I can, I would like to recall the date in which I persuaded my wife that I was actually marriage material. So it wasn't very expensive, but
that's how you persuaded her, because she realized, he won't just spend all his money on a pointless date.
Something like that. Carissa was not happy with me, but I convinced her to let me take her out for her birthday, which is on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day.
Look at you. You can save some money by just combining the two.
That is correct. Boom. That is correct. One of the bonuses of being married to my wife. So we went to dinner in Traveler's Rest, and this is when I was driving the Eclipse of Doom.
Wait.
With no
There's a place to eat in Traveler's Rest?
Traveler's Rest is like Yuppie Central now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff there. So, what is that, Ben?
Do we have like a cha-ching sound effect that we can do during this segment?
But we're going to.
Because that's what we need right now.
Yes.
It can be like every time Tombstone tells us about how cheap he is, cha-ching!
He is cheap, isn't he?
The Eclipse of Doom was amazing.
There's a difference. I'm poor. That's the difference.
He drove around a car with no hood for years.
Cha-ching!
It was
years.
Aerodynamic holes in the spoiler.
It did.
Yes.
I don't remember this is before or after the hood got put back on. Anyways,
she wasn't happy. Sorry, continue. Her birthday.
No,
February 14th,
I made her mad. I took her to dinner and we had a nice time, and I probably spent like $30 on dinner. And then we went up, and then it was snow on the ground in the mountains. So I drove my piece of crap car up the mountain to a place called Pretty Place. There's an open air chapel and it overlooks on the Piedmont there.
He went parking, guys.
It's close to Caesar's Head, and there's nobody there. So we get up there, and the road is covered in snow. It's got like 4 inches of snow on it. And there was another couple there that's trying to do the same thing we were, and they were stuck.
They were trying to get engaged.
I was gonna say 4 inches of snow. So for you guys, it's basically snowpocalypse. Like the bread and milk is gone.
You don't drive in 4 inches of snow. You don't do it. But it wasn't everywhere. It was just up there on top of the ridges, and north of town. So they were stuck. So I pushed them out, wearing my cowboy boots, which was an adventure.
Yeah, that must have been interesting.
And then I got back in the Eclipse, and we drove the rest of the way down the ridge.
Date, guys.
I did. I wore jeans and a pearl snap shirt, and drove her out there. And we talked, and we sat on the ledge there. And I also fed her chocolate cake, and that was
what?
Yes.
What? You fed her chocolate cake? Your wife doesn't know how to eat chocolate cake by herself?
No, I mean, I brought chocolate cake specifically for the purpose of seduction, and it worked beautifully.
Was the ring in the chocolate cake?
I didn't propose.
No, this wasn't the proposal. I
didn't propose to her.
This was like she finally let him take him on a date.
This is.
I thought you said persuaded her to marry you, not just to actually go on a date with you.
This is after we broke up, and then I had to get her to see me again. So I used the chocolate cake as my secret weapon.
So you used the chocolate cake and getting stuck in the snow to keep her there.
Oh, we're stuck
metaphorically.
Here.
Yes.
Oh, look, I have a chocolate cake in the backseat.
Dang it! How did that happen?
We just have to sit here and eat it.
But listen, if you take a woman to a pretty overlook that's snowy and then you give her chocolate cake, it will improve your chances. That's all I can say about it.
I'm going to try that here in Flat Jersey.
Well, drive her up the end of the pier.
I will drive her
off the end of the pier.
Just
off
the tall.
The off the end is depending on how the date goes. You go to the end, and then if she says no, you just go the rest of the way off the end.
Okay. That's all that to say, you don't have to be expensive
or the
on
cement
the date.
overcoat. Which
you gotta
want?
be.
Guys.
You don't have to be expensive. You just gotta be inventive.
I'm just gonna say
I like that.
So for Michigan, it says $112.90.
You guys are
for the
cheap
average
too.
date, and I don't understand.
That 90 cents would absolutely break me.
That's the problem right there. I just don't understand who's spending that much money. Now, we did just go up to New York City for her birthday.
You didn't visit me
this last week. No, we didn't visit you. Sorry, we only had so much time. It was come visit you or get back to the cottage on the lake. So we came back to the cottage on the lake.
Good call.
But so we did spend quite a bit of money in New York City, like going to see Phantom of the Opera and going to a nice dinner that night.
Right.
But so that was an expensive date. But your average date is like, what are we going to eat tonight? I don't know. What do you want to eat? And then you find something to eat and then go see a movie.
Which is good.
So yeah, like 30, $40, like you guys are saying though, like dinner and a movie should be more.
Does that make us cheap, guys?
I think it makes us smart.
I think it makes us smart. Yes.
Usually the dates that we have now, because again, we got 4 kids and it's hard to get Grandma and Grandpa to watch 4 kids. Let's just be honest, that are under the age of 6 years old. Yeah. So normally what we do is we take the kids, we swim with the kids all day long. So that way they're worn out and then we can get them in bed by 7 o'clock.
Nice. Yeah.
This is smart.
Then we will go and we will buy a new movie off of Vudu that we've always wanted to watch for like $16, $20 and go get Chinese food.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
I will go get I will get Chinese food and we'll come back. And the end of about $30, $35, you got a new movie and Chinese food.
Chinese food is an excellent date night.
It's Japanese food,
by the way.
Us.
Oh yeah, like hibachi.
Yeah, like hibachi
Japanese.
steak.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh man, we did one of those Mongolian grills last week for lunch after church.
Ooh. Oh yeah,
that's solid, guys.
Always good as well. Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's a salad.
Sounds amazing.
Pretty sure it's a salad. It was. I agree. Was excellent. I mean, because you're loading all these veggies and stuff, right? And that's a salad.
Yeah.
And noodles and
right.
Yeah, noodles are vegetables. So. And cows ate vegetables.
Carbs are vegetables.
Right.
I mean, if we're
steak is processed vegetables.
Steak is just vegetable. It's just the result of vegetables.
I'm just saying,
processed vegetables.
It's salad in a different form. All right, tell us about
this thing. Is off the hook. This thing is off the hook.
Salad.
Okay. So how's this going over
there? I took Krispy Kreme donut and I stuck it in the waffle iron, and the texture is fascinating because it got kind of
crispy.
It got crispy on the outside, but gooey on the inside.
Isn't that how a Krispy Kreme donut
I thought you were going to put a Popeyes chicken donut.
Okay.
Now it's a crispy Kreme donut.
It's kind of a crispy Kreme, but it's kind of sticky inside because like the sugars got kind of like melded into the inside, and so the flavor goes all through the whole thing.
Again,
yes.
That was just normal of
Aaron,
the donut.
what is that last comment you put in the chat?
Nothing at all. Okay. Tombstone.
I mean, it's
nothing.
That's not what she said, but okay.
Not. So,
sorry.
Wow.
I'll stop.
So, it's phenomenal. I suggest go out and try this. It's definitely worth a try.
All right. So, how much did the Krispy Kreme donuts cost you? Because this could be a new date.
$8. $8.
So we got $8, a waffle iron, and a movie.
Guys, you take
significantly lower than average.
You take a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top of that hot, sticky, beautiful Krispy Kreme donut that's been in the waffle iron. Toss a little fruit on top.
That sounds good. I like it.
Oh man!
Now I was watching a random foods and stuff like that, and these guys in, I want to say it was California, had taken Krispy Kreme donut and then slapped a piece of chicken between them.
Yeah,
and had made a sandwich.
Yeah,
that is definitely.
And so
worth a try.
Okay, so I did try to do this yesterday.
No, apparently it's super good. No, actually, I take it back. It wasn't chicken. It was Sloppy Joe.
Oh, Sloppy Joe.
That's where I've seen the chicken or a burger on that. Sloppy Joe sounds awful.
It was actually Sloppy Joe, and apparently it was really good. So
I could see this with a slider.
Test.
I could see throwing like a burger patty on there.
Yeah.
That sounds really good with some bacon. Oh man, or a sausage patty with some bacon.
Ooh.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
An egg on there, maybe. Yeah.
Let's do it.
So
calories for breakfast.
I tried to go to
That's like a salad, right?
I tried to go to Popeyes yesterday. We'll discuss the Popeyes trip when we come back, because it was a trip.
smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa.
That was a non-gendered person, Ken, and you just gave it a gender.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
All right, leave this guy alone with his poor, constipated poops. We're going to come back and talk about politics. That's what really matters here.
So I tried to do the Popeyes thing yesterday.
Yes.
Wait. You know you always use that intro, and then we don't come back and talk about politics.
I know. That's the irony of it. That's the irony of it.
I see.
I tried to do the Popeyes thing yesterday, and I pull up to the drive-thru.
Did they tell you they weren't Chick-fil-A?
And it said, no.
They definitely didn't say my pleasure.
It said sold out over the chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that sucks.
And it said, be back soon.
That's because they did not bless it and divide the loaves and the fishes.
That is true. That is true.
That is
they
true.
Did not self-multiply. I'm curious as to whether this was just an extremely beautiful marketing ploy that they only sold a certain number of sandwiches per shop, or if they legit ran out. And I think it's the latter.
I think they probably just ran out. Yeah.
No, I'm saying I think it's marketing.
So you think it's the former?
The former. I think it was very planned.
I don't know.
Well, why? Because they could still be making money hand over fist.
No. They're making money hand over fist right now. So they come out with a chicken sandwich. They start picking on Chick-fil-A. Everyone starts going crazy on social media because there's this feud between Chick-fil-A and Popeyes, which doesn't even exist. People start making memes. People are like, "Oh, I need to try this stupid sandwich."
But they can't. I'm torn.
Confused.
I'm torn because they can't try the sandwich if they're out. I understand.
Right.
I understand
artificial it though.
I understand artificial scarcity to drive demand. I completely understand that. But if it goes on too long, you're pulling a Entertainment 720 from Parks and Rec.
I know.
You Parks and Rec fans out there, where they just tell everybody they're booked for the first month and they don't get any business.
Right? So, no. But I mean, they're going to get business anyways. People are pulling
about that.
People are pulling up to the drive-thru anyways, asking for the sandwich, being told no, we don't have it, and buying food anyways. Except I didn't.
I was going to say, yeah.
I wonder
jerk. What the percentage.
I was a jerk.
If you're there purely to try the sandwich, you pull up and you're like,
I was I wasn't buying it. I wasn't buying anything if I wasn't
right.
I mean,
they wouldn't put it on the large sign because you don't want to just like have people driving by. You want to wait till they get right in the lane, and then they get stuck. Stuck.
Yeah. So
you're stuck between the two cars, and you're like, well, I'm here now.
I think this was pure marketing. I really think they're like, oh, we'll just wait a month, we'll re-release it, and they'll do a big hoopla again when they re-release it.
The good thing, the joy I've had over the last couple of weeks of being on vacation and going straight back to work, is that I only found out this existed like days later when I happened to see something about it come up on social media, and I just really have not been sucked into this whole Chick-fil-A, Popeyes nonsense. It's actually been kind of nice. I also live in a state where there's hardly any Chick-fil-A's or Popeyes. There's a couple of each.
I'm sorry you live in a liberal bastion.
We just got a Popeyes, and it's like been causing unsafe traffic patterns on US 29.
That's because of the chicken sandwich.
I know. I'm just saying.
It's all related to the chicken sandwich.
It literally just showed up, and now it's like.
Which are they paying people to go eat these sandwiches? Because every Popeyes I've seen has been absolutely packed.
Yes, but it's a particular demographic.
Well, and when you create the hype, people are going to try it. Like you were there to try it.
I was there to try it. I was there to try it for the show. Because my goal was I was going to get a Popeyes sandwich. I was then going to go to Chick-fil-A and pick up a Chick-fil-A sandwich, eat them side by side on video for the Front Porch Show family.
Literally taking a bite out of each at the exact same time.
Well, that was going to be one of the demos, yes. And then I was also going to pick up a Chick-fil-A patty, just ask for the sandwich, sans the bread, and
watching that gluten.
Yeah, watching that gluten, and in order to slap it between my donuts. So, yeah, that was going to be good. Guys, that sounded much more inappropriate than I meant it to. I apologize.
What was I going to say?
So, Tombstone, about that boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us.
Jeff is not aware of
I'm
what's
so
going on
glad
here.
we started.
Jeff has been busy.
Summarize the story for Jeff real quick.
So Jeff, like a few weeks ago when Ben and I were on the show together for the first time, before we started, I said, hey, I asked him where he lived because I didn't even know where he was living. And he's like, I live in New Jersey. And I'm like, wow, you're right by the ocean. Do you have a sailboat? And he said, no, but my dad has a sailboat. I was like, really? Tell me about it. He's like, yeah, he'd probably give it to you if you want it. I was like, I'll give him a call. So,
but your dad's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right.
His dad's in Douglasville. So I called Ben's dad. And
have you ever met Ben's dad, by the way?
Never met Ben's dad. He's a very nice man. We talked on the phone. And he has got the boat all ready to go and put new wheels on the trailer and new lights on the trailer, and I'm probably going to go pull it away on Monday.
Nice.
So my mother is ecstatic.
And lights on the trailer for you just to get this thing out of here.
I think
my mother probably forced him to do that.
Yeah. And he's also, let me read you the last message he sent me. Because he's going like way above and beyond the Call of Duty here. He says,
and definitely Ben's mom's involved in it.
My mom is probably like, do it before this boy backs out.
New wheels and tires are in the sailboat trailer, axles and bearings running smoothly. Boat is receiving a deep cleaning with special marine chemicals provided by, and he names the company. The owner worked with me for several hours today, and then he tells me he wants me to come get it on Monday, basically. Wait, if I can.
Are you getting this boat for free?
It's not costing me anything.
Wow.
Good job.
That's amazing.
Now,
that is how desperate my mother is.
Why did you tell me about this deal?
It's not costing me anything to pull away, but it will need some TLC.
Okay,
so
it's a boat. It's going to cost a lot.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a free sailboat, but the hull is not costing me anything.
What is this?
What condition are the sails in?
What is this?
He said the mainsail is good, but the jib needs help.
What is this going to do to your relationship, Tombstone? How does your wife feel about this?
So my wife is actually stoked. In fact, this is partially my wife's idea. Once I explained to her that I had this notion, she was all on board. She was just worried about the money aspect,
on board,
which is
on
normal.
board.
Yes, you're
all aboard.
So, but my wife loves the water, and you know the whole idea was like my real main hobby is motorcycling, but you can't take your family with you when you go motorcycling. I mean, you can.
It's just called a sidecar, and then you feel dumb, and then
right. But I mean, practically speaking, so the idea was to get something we could do together. We can go, take little trips and get outside and enjoy the sun together as a family. So, and the boat is big enough for all of us. I don't know if I'll want to put the kids on it until they're maybe a little bit older because it can still heal up in the wind and so on.
So the question I have is are you going to be dressing up like Russell Crowe from Master and Commander?
I'll be dressing up and I'll be bringing my little mandolin or my little violin as well.
I prefer oh crap, the joke would have been so much funnier if I remembered it.
Yep, you ruined it.
Yep, but that's the typical Mathis joke.
It's dead. DOA.
Those donuts are messing with your mind.
They're going to my head, man. Absolutely.
Talking about Waterworld? What are you going
No, I was hoping Tombstone was going to dress up as Thurston Howell III.
I don't even know who that is.
Wow. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
How would I know who that is?
Well, I mean,
my goodness.
See, the only reason you would know what that is if you ever went on a 3-hour tour with your boat.
You don't know?
No, come on!
Oh my goodness. Tour. Tombstone,
I don't know.
Did you grow up under a rock?
No,
Jim Backus.
This is a Gilligan's Island reference. I'm sorry, I never watched Gilligan's Island.
And the professor?
Listen, Gilligan's Island was a Gen X thing, okay? I'm a millennial.
He's the guy.
So am I.
So am I.
Well, I'm just saying. It wasn't on regular daytime television when I was growing up.
Yes, it was.
Thurston Howell.
It was not.
Was the posh.
The only time I saw Gilligan's Island was on cable, and we didn't have cable when I was a kid.
Was the posh, prestigious guy, always wore a suit and an ascot. And then had you need to get one.
Clearly.
You just tie a piece of cloth around your neck.
And the pilot and the captain's hat. You need the little captain's hat and the pipe.
It's not a pilot hat. It's a
I said
ship
captain's hat. Yes, captain's
You said
hat.
pilot.
I said
first.
pilot. I fixed my words.
I guess they call them like a steamboat pilot, I guess. So
No, it is technically like you can have a pilot of a ship.
Yeah.
That is true.
So
not wrong.
Don't forget about Pirates of Penzance.
So
I definitely had chosen to forget about the Pirates of Penzance.
So I'm wondering
that was forgotten about intentionally.
I'm wondering about Gilligan's Island, how Thurston Howell ended up with all the clothes he changed out of and into on this trip if they were only on a 3-hour tour.
He was delivered by Amazon.
I'm so confused. Like,
Amazon Prime.
I'm now
he was the original
realizing
Amazon
I have no
Prime
idea
member.
how this was set up, and now I'm kind of seriously curious.
Gilligan's Island?
Yeah.
Like
well, I mean,
Tombstone.
We've just started a new binge watch for Tombstone.
That's probably
you're gonna have to. No, you have to now. I mean, it was a fantastic show.
It was.
So they're on a 3-hour tour from Honolulu. They ran into a tropical storm and they're shipwrecked on an uncharted. This sounds like nobody knew what they were doing because they didn't check the weather before they went sailing.
Tombstone. This was back in the 60s, 50s.
They had weather. They had weather back then.
Dude, weathermen only have to be right like 20% of the time, and they're considered genius.
Yes,
so,
but if there's a tropical storm,
they had weather
you
back
should know
then.
there's a tropical storm. Just saying.
Back then, there was
a tropical
weather.
storm, and you're on a 3-hour cruise. You would be able to see it from 3 hours away.
It's not a cruise. It's a tour.
Not true.
Get it right.
It's not true.
Whatever.
They were touring.
Am I right, Jeff? I mean, like, how big is a tropical storm? It's like 40 miles
weather
wide
just
at a minimum.
pops up out of nowhere.
Not a tropical storm. Tropical storm comes from the equator. It winds its way up to wherever it's going. You can see it coming from a long. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I feel like it's shoddy writing.
And here's Tombstone's review of The Time Was Classic.
That is Tombstone at thefrontporchshow.com.
Okay, if I can find it, I'll watch it and I'll present a review of the first couple episodes.
Oh no!
You can find. I think you can find them on YouTube now. Some of the episodes,
probably.
Okay. But yeah, no. I want you to dress like that. I have this visual of you sitting on the back of the boat.
No.
In your little captain's hat.
I'm probably going to end up in the water, honestly.
That's what I want to see. I want to see you soaking wet in a suit coat and a captain's hat.
You have a cruel streak.
I feel like Tombstone's more of the Andy sails his boat off in the last season of The Office and like goes insane on the sailboat after like 2 days on the water. I feel like that's a little more up Tombstone.
He's like, no, I can make it a month. I can make it a month by myself. And then 2 days later,
a month is a long time.
2 days later, he's got like Wilson in the corner and he's talking to the volleyball.
Tombstone's just gonna take a volleyball with him on day one on the boat,
just to give him company. Just to give him company.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's like drawn on in Sharpie. It's good.
Okay.
I like it.
So when I've got this, I'll
you'll have to invite us down for a boat ride.
I'll invite you down for a boat ride.
Going to stand on shore with a video camera.
Oh, I'll go on the boat.
It's not that dangerous.
I've tipped a catamaran over before.
It's not the end of the world.
With my dad and my uncle. Just
Aaron,
a small.
You would actually be good to have along for 2 reasons. First of all, you would help keep the boat down the water.
It's true.
Second of all, if it does tip out, you actually need stouter personages to help ride the boat.
Yeah.
And you float well, presumably.
No, I actually don't. I sink. I'm a sinker.
He's not a floater.
I'm not a floater. I'm a sinker.
I almost said it. I didn't say it. I'm so proud of myself.
All right, guys. We will
Take
be
us
right
out.
back.
Literally take us out. Release the rods.
Must have been a bad batch around here because Floyd counties went crazy in the last 4 days. When I finally got down here to the house to look see what happened, the door was standing wide open. It looked like he was packing up for a yard sale when he come out. He was lying, throwing his hands, saying stuff like, I didn't do it, you know how roads do, and blaming on everybody else. He did pull a gun on me when I got back around the house because I guess he thought I was upset with him. Who steals a cheese grater? He's got the words, Lysol. He stole an empty bottle of spray. What got me the most was my soap. He stole my soap. Who steals soap?
Stole my soap.
Guys,
where was that from?
That was from Tennessee.
Who steals soap?
Florida man, guys. Speaking of sinkers and floaters, Florida man didn't flush. And I don't know if you guys heard about this. This is a Huffington Post, guys. This is a true story.
Wait a minute. I don't know if those two phrases have ever gone together in the history of the world. This is the Huffington Post. It's a true story.
Guys.
Let's see what we got here.
Keith Mount's friend left one in the porcelain throne.
Oh, it's Pasco County.
Oh,
it is
could have been on live.
Could have been.
What are we talking about?
46-year-old Keith Mounts. His friend leaves one soaking.
No, I thought Mounts was the one that left one soaking.
I'm so confused.
Did he? Either way, one guy left one soaking. The other guy went after him with a machete.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wait. Let's see.
That's not proportional.
Mathis butchers every story. Let's look here.
I love your selective words there, butchers.
I know. After we're talking about,
maybe it was. Maybe it was the guy.
I'm telling you.
That's insane. What is wrong with people?
I don't know.
I do.
It's Florida. What are you talking about?
I unfortunately know some people who operate by the rule of if it's yellow, let it mellow.
No.
Yes.
No.
And one of them may be my brother-in-law who rents a room from me.
Okay. The only time that is appropriate is at night when the children are sleeping in the next room.
How loud is your toilet?
Mine's loud.
I have a kid that doesn't sleep. So
we actually have noisemakers.
So that's true. They have like white noisemakers now that you can put in the kids' room.
Yep. That's what we have.
We have a fan.
Or ethnic noisemakers, whichever you choose.
They're amazing.
What?
You didn't get my joke.
No.
White noise, ethnic noise. Anyway.
I would have thought
that would have got Mathis to laugh.
No. So, I knew where you were going.
The one thing I thought is maybe this guy was getting ready for the weather that's approaching Florida, and so he was trying to conserve water.
No.
Maybe. There could be a rational explanation.
No, this guy was just
all right.
cruel.
Well,
okay.
Now that we've flushed that idea.
Did you hear? Did you hear his explanation though to investigators?
Crap happens.
Yeah. That was literally the statement to the police.
That made me think that the story was fake, to be honest with you guys. I mean,
I don't know. This is really weird. I'm just
it's super weird. But anyways, hopefully he had the Charmin Super Roll.
Okay. Yeah, did you guys check this out? So I saw this. This is like the first Facebook link that I've clicked on in so long.
Yeah, this story was actually going around a couple months ago.
Oh,
I'm
man,
sorry.
I have not seen this.
Well, that's good. That means you haven't been on Facebook, which is great.
It just looks like it's one of the industrial.
It is like it. Basically, that's what it is.
The size of one of the industrial rolls from like a commercial bathroom.
Well, it's bigger, I think.
It's amazing. It's hilarious. So I'm thinking this is definitely not for people who have animals or kids. Basically, what this is it is Charmin, the toilet paper manufacturer, has decided that it's getting tired of not conserving on cardboard, I guess, and has decided that it's going to wrap all of the toilet paper that would go into about a 12 or 16 pack onto one roll, and then sell you a different toilet paper holder, a stand for it,
which is the moneymaker.
This is industrial. I like it.
Supposedly, you can get up to 1 month worth of toilet paper without changing the roll.
Isn't this what they do? Isn't this what they do at like businesses and restaurants and so on?
Essentially,
yeah. It's basically, it's just the size of an industrial roll of toilet paper. Hopefully, it's better quality than the industrial toilet paper.
If you have kids or wives, that will not last a month.
Wives, plural?
Are we talking about this Canadian guy last week?
Did you move to Nevada or something? Or Utah?
That dude with 24 wives from Canada.
I was talking wives. I was talking wives, plural, across the group, guys. Plural.
Oh,
okay. Man. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This is, I don't know. I don't get the
It's not saving anything. It's just
it does help put off the standoff that is who's going to change the roll of toilet paper, because how many times have you guys gotten into the situation where somebody has conveniently left like the 2 squares that are stuck to the cardboard and 1 free square, and that's their excuse for not changing the roll?
Well, you had enough
toilet paper.
You had enough.
But realistically, though, that's not the question that I have concerns about. Let's get to the heart of the matter: is over or under?
Over. Of course, we actually solved the problem.
I'm breaking from my family tradition by going over. It just makes so much more sense. Now I go back to my parents' house and I'm like, who put this on backwards?
I would passively aggressively swap it. No, so we don't have a toilet paper holder in our house.
Well, that's awkward.
We use the shells. That sounds. You don't remember? You don't know, guys. Come on. You guys don't remember that?
I remember a basket of seashells. I remember
Sandra,
a basket of seashells in the bathroom, but
Sandra Bullock and
Oh God, what are we talking about?
Sandra Bullock.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
There's going to be a lot of listeners who get that, and I feel ashamed of you 3. Sandra Bullock and it's
I don't know.
Sandra Bullock and
yeah, saying Sandra Bullock 10 more times is not helping me understand this.
What's his name?
Ryan Reynolds?
Not John Travolta.
John Lennon. John Wayne.
Oh, no.
John Kerry.
Johnny Rockets.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
So
it's Demolition Man with Sandra Bullock and
was that
vague reference.
Was that
Stallone? What is his name? Stallone. Thank you, Stallone.
Oh, Stallone.
It's in the future.
So that's not a John.
It's in the future.
The only John in this situation.
It's in the future. It's in the future, and there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. And so his question is, how do you use the 3 seashells? And apparently, it was for cleaning up in the bathroom.
Nope, that did not process.
Guys.
Yep.
He asks why there's no toilet paper and only 3 seashells in the bathroom, and he's like, he doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. They all laugh, and then we never find out how the seashells are used.
I can't say I've seen it.
Oh my goodness.
I have, but that wasn't a part that stuck out to me, and I don't think I've seen Demolition Man in probably 10 years.
It's the only part of the movie I remember. So
bathroom humor does appeal to Mathis.
I just remember Wesley Snipes shooting up everything.
Yes. Yeah.
That's basically what I remember.
I remember that too. Man, now I feel. So, how's Florida prepping for this hurricane? You guys on the East Coast, you guys going to be okay? We've got Hurricane Dorian there, bearing down on the East Coast.
Yeah, what is the French toast ingredient situation in your guys's grocery stores?
Mine's perfectly fine.
Tombstone, have you run out of milk, eggs, and bread?
Tombstone.
I don't think South Carolina. Most people in South Carolina don't yet know that we're in the dead center of the target zone, which is 800 miles wide for this storm.
So it's not very precise at the moment.
It's not.
It's kind of crazy because as of yesterday afternoon, like noon, the storm was still scheduled to hit like Palm Beach. Just north of Palm Beach, and kind of plow right across the state.
Let me pull up my fancy NOAA map here.
So it is now. They are now predicting the eye of the storm. They've moved it out further, Tombstone. Even further than out to sea. They're saying it's going to swing right up over the north of the Bahamas, and like it will barely brush the shore.
Right.
Good.
And so
in other words,
all the models are pretty consistent on that right now, except for the funky green one. But there's
that green one that has it going all the way across Florida, back up.
Which we're gonna go. That's wrong. We're gonna go. That's right.
Who knows? But hurricanes
hit Florida, and I'm gonna hit Florida again.
Hurricanes do weird things.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
before.
The thing is, you go with the path that is most likely, and.
I don't know which one is most likely though.
Yeah, I don't know how you determine that.
I'm looking at the heat map, Florida is still like it is very possible it will just go right up the Florida coast.
Basically, you go with the converging lines. Where the converging lines go, that's basically where
you're taking the average.
You take the average. That's what most weather people do is they take the average. The problem is you've got people like the Weather Channel that don't take the average and they take the worst because it makes for much better news.
Well, so that was the question I was going to throw at you guys is, do you feel like, so a lot of people talk about whether they're talking about global warming or whatever, like the increasing intensity of storms and severity of storms and all this stuff. The only thing I feel like I've seen an increase in intensity and severity of is the reporting around these storms. Nowadays, any storm that pops up is like, this is going to be the next Katrina, the next Sandy. The whole world's going to end. This hurricane's going to end up over Lake Superior. Like, it's insanity. And then 2 days before it hits, it takes a right turn and it's a category 0.5 when it comes ashore. And they're like, oh, never mind. And then they just move on to the next one.
Without getting into the climate change debate, where is the line between climate change and weather? No one has been able to tell me that right now. And so every time we have a storm,
do you realize that you just said without getting into the debate? Here's a giant gateway into the debate.
I
wasn't going to go that route. Yeah, I was just going to say
the problem is
no matter the cause, the reporting is just everything is. I have to get the views. I have to get the clicks. So literally every event that pops up is now a world-ending event, and it's like it's a hurricane in hurricane season.
It's because we talked, or you guys talked about it before, where it's we love drama. Everything has
the Weather Channel.
The worst.
The Weather Channel loves drama.
You know, that's why it's got to be like whenever there's protests, it has to be the scariest thing that's happened, and people are breaking windows and riots and all of this stuff. Or people, you know, if it's Antifa people, they're beating up people and people are beating them up or whatever else. It's because everybody loves it. That's why people fight on Facebook, because they can't stop. And actually, I mean, it's addictive. It's addictive is what it is. And so the news and everybody have caught on to it and are now doing it with weather. They're now doing it with, it's the biggest car accident since, you know, blah, 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 or it's whatever. And it's like, it's the hype. And you realize it's a fender bender and you're like, what? Like, and this is another reason why it's hard to believe news sources, because you don't know how hyped it is.
I think the phrase we would use is that the press is the enemy of the people.
Yes, but it's yes, and not even intentionally.
Thank you, Donald.
It's not even.
You're welcome. I'll be here all day.
It's just. You're right. It's just the sensationalization of everything for entertainment value, and it's like, just give me the information so I can make a solid choice instead of making everything the big. And of course, our president is also extremely guilty of this. It was the biggest attendance. It was the greatest thing. It was the you know. Why do we need that part of it?
Trump is the greatest show on earth.
Well, that might be true.
It's like, Hugh Jackman came out with that movie, The Greatest Showman, and then all of a sudden Trump was like, I take that as a challenge.
Hold my beer.
Yes. Trump's like, hold my water. He doesn't drink.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. Hold my Diet Coke.
Yes. He drinks Confefe.
Confefe.
Oh man. No, what kills me is I'm looking at all these reports for the storm right now, and none of them reflect the computer models. So I'm looking at the computer models right now. I
just had a new one sent to me by one of my people in the state, and it has a new spaghetti model bunch of spaghetti. What do you call a bunch of spaghetti together?
A bowl?
Is there like a word like a herd of spaghetti?
Herd of spaghetti. It looks like northwest South Carolina roads.
A bowl of pasta.
Every single track has it staying off the coast until it gets to North Carolina, and then even still, most of them have it going over the Outer Banks.
The problem is that you get any higher than the Carolinas.
And guess what? You know what, though? We shouldn't waste too much time talking about this, because by the time our audience listens to this show, we'll already know.
They'll be hit.
They'll be hit.
Wait, so we should predict it, and then see how we do.
Yeah.
So is that terrible to do?
I don't think I can.
It's terrible
I could not predict it. Like, I don't know.
You're turning into a news organization.
The eye is not going to come on shore. The eye is not going to come on shore. That's my prediction. It's going to swing out to sea. The eye will not touch the shore.
I live surrounded by essentially freshwater oceans that have no sharks and no hurricanes. It's
no
nice.
Sharks.
I mean, I'm looking at all these different models, and everything's pushing it further out to sea. And the problem is, you get further than 3 days out or 4 days out, you can't predict anything.
Yeah,
correct.
It's completely unpredictable.
My prediction is there will be no Sharknadoes.
Oh,
lame.
Only reason I showed up today is for Sharknadoes.
I know. Could have been real.
I think Tombstone should try to get the boat and sail it the day that the storm is scheduled to
that would
land
be a
in South
recipe
Carolina.
for disaster.
Tombstone.
No, you just got to sail it in the eye of the storm.
Yeah, and then it's calm.
There's no wind, so you get when the wind arrives, you die. That's the problem.
So keep rowing.
Yeah, keep rowing.
The lack of wind is actually a problem because you have no control when there's no wind.
Huh.
So it's not a motorboat.
Does this boat have a motor on it?
Tombstone.
It's a 500-pound sailboat. It doesn't need a
not.
motor.
Tombstone, what you call a problem.
Paddles.
Tombstone, what you call a problem, we call an opportunity and a great story. Just saying.
So someday when Tombstone gets the boat,
how's your plans for Area 51 coming along?
Okay, so
yes.
my truck is still in pieces because I broke parts last week, which I reported on the show.
No,
I was gone 5 days this week on business for my job that pays the rent.
But Jono was going to take care of you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Did I tell you about that yesterday? I call him up yesterday morning because I'm like,
no,
dude, how much cash do I owe you? I want to bring cash. How much do I owe you? And he goes, oh man, I totally forgot.
Are you serious?
And then you go,
I'm not kidding at all. And he goes, some guy brought me a race car engine. I have to have it done by 7:00 tonight. I'm going to get it done tomorrow.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay. And so Alyssa calls him at 8:30 this morning. That's why she was up here talking during the break. We were trying to hash out our plans because we've got our plans today. Obviously, I'm recording the show. It's a Saturday morning. We're recording the show. The oil in the car has to be changed. It was way over.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, oil changes are overrated. As it burns off, you just put more new oil in, and then it doesn't matter. That's a great thing about old Saturns.
That's what my great grandpa said. Just change the filter and keep on trucking,
that's
man.
Right.
So, and then we've got a party at 12:30 that we're supposed to go to.
Ooh,
and I have to go an hour. He's not going to have the head done till noon. I have to get down to the head by noon. It's an hour away, and then back to the party by 12:30. And so that's a 2-hour trip.
12:30 today?
12:30 today. Yeah.
I hate to tell you, but the logistics
don't work out.
Are not in your favor.
The logistics don't work out. But if I don't get the heads today, I can't pick them up until Tuesday.
Ooh.
I have to get them today. I have no option.
We'll get them for you.
And then we've got.
Are we going to cut the show shorter?
No. I can make this work because if I'm off the air by 11, my time, Central Time, I'm golden. So no problem. I'm actually good.
All right.
I'm actually good.
Sure, you say so.
So Jono's still got the heads. He's going to have them done. $200, guys. Remember, I told you I was quoted $600 in our big town.
Yes.
This is out of his race shop, which race cars. He builds race cars for a living.
That's pretty awesome.
He's doing my engine.
Is he going to soup up your engine while
he's not, but I am
working it?
Did you see all the parts? You probably didn't. You haven't heard the saga.
I've seen parts of it in the text thread. And I've just been like, why don't you just buy a new car? Not new car, but a new to you car.
Jeff. It's so Jeff.
I mean, Jeff will sell you a Saturn.
There's fixing things. That's true. My brother-in-law's got an identical Saturn. If you want one, I'm just saying. Great gas mileage. Great gas mileage.
Remember, this pickup truck has only 50,000 miles on it, and it's 13 years old. And so I'm going to get another 250 out of it. I'm telling you.
Until you have to do the heads again.
Until I have to do the heads again. More than likely, yeah. More than likely, I'll have to redo the heads at that point. But
are we taking bets on how long this thing lasts after this rebuild?
If you guys want to start a pool, and if I win, I get all the money, yes. I'm good with that. But I don't think that's how pools work.
No, I don't think it is either.
Usually you have to fill them with water.
Good point. And this is why I'm working on the vehicle and you aren't.
You're not working on a vehicle, you're paying somebody to.
for example, the first thing that we make now, instead of a cuckoo clock, see, this is a poo-poo clock. And what we did see is we took them turds and we crammed them in between the number there, so that's 130, 230, 330. The turds are all local. We just go out and track the moose, and wherever the moose are, they're going to take a crap. And I have found that when a moose takes a dump, you walk about 50 yards in any direction and they take another dump. And when a moose takes a dump, they'll crap out between 200 and 400 turds every time they take a crap. So it's like I get $5 a turd for these things. So I get jumping right up and down. I get excited when I see a turd.
That happens sometimes, guys. It's like when you first bring your baby home
potty
from
training.
Think back to the previous story. The Florida man got jumping up and down when he saw a turd.
That's true. It's true.
So jumping up and down, he grabbed a machete and went after somebody.
It's like I remember Alyssa and my first text. I wrote it down. This is our first text after having the first baby, Myron. This was after she was in the hospital for a day or two, and.
I know exactly what this is.
And Alyssa's like, oh my goodness, Myron just took his first dump. He just pooped. And that apparently is a milestone.
I've gotten that text.
It's apparently a milestone.
It's going to be in his baby book.
Because the hospital will not release you until the baby poops.
Right.
And it can take up to 3 days.
Make sure everything works. It's more of a yellow color.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
It makes sure everything's working on the inside there.
It's disgusting.
All right.
It's actually not disgusting.
So Ben sends this.
Compared to toddler poops, it's not disgusting.
I love Tombstone's practical approach to this. I really do.
Disgusting.
See where you've started? All right. Anyway.
So Ben sends this article the other day about this car that you can't really see when you look at the picture. And it's kind of like me wearing my camo boxers.
Well, you can
really
see
not
the car in the picture. What?
All right. So anyway.
Aaron, that was a terrible transition. Don't ever do that again.
I am the master of terrible transitions.
All right, stop talking. I'm going to take over here.
Okay.
So basically, what this is?
Ben has seized the reins. Everything's under control now. We're good. Everything's fine. Hostile takeover.
We are going to stay on target. All right, here we go.
Target.
All right, so a couple years ago, these British engineers accidentally came up with this substance that is called Vantablack. Essentially,
it's not Vita. That sounds like a pill.
I'm sorry, Vantablack. Excuse me. I keep saying Vantablack. I got that in my mind for some reason. Vantablack. What it is they made it into a paint, and it absorbs 99% of light. Which
99.9 or just 99?
It's actually 99.5.
Ah, okay.
% of light.
I wonder how they measured that.
I don't know, but they did.
So
you can measure that.
So if it was driving on a dark night, you probably would not actually be able to see it.
Right. Exactly. Except
for every new car has eyeball melting headlights that make it impossible for the other drivers to see.
Off. Thank you, Jeff, for that touch of realism.
So what BMW has done is they have painted one of their cars with this Vantablack, and it is really cool.
I took the liberty of going to the manufacturer's website, which is Surrey Nanosystems, and it's actually a space related calibration thing that they devised it for calibrating instruments on satellites, apparently.
Right. And that's where it comes into play with, they were saying that they can use it on telescopes to be able to take pictures, because one of the things that they have problems with is whenever you go, looking into space, space is actually super bright because there is no diffusion from an atmosphere.
Right.
And so one of the problems they have is with lens flare, refraction, the whole 9 yards inside of these telescopes, and they can paint the inside walls of the telescope with this stuff and have none of that.
So you only get what comes in on the
fascinating.
Right.
You're not getting it bounced around.
You're not getting it bounced around.
Which
That's
is
really
super cool. So this stuff's a couple years old.
Literally, you look at the picture of the car, you can't see any lines.
I was going to say, you're the graphic designer, Ben.
Completely flat.
This is an actual photo here. This is not an artist rendering, but it looks like a bad artist rendering almost because of the way that the light is not coming off of it.
It looks completely silhouetted, and it's not. It's because the camera and the light coming off of, there is no light actually coming off of the painted surfaces of the car. to be able to reflect into the camera to give you any depth perception.
So my question is cool. Is this just because of the camera, or does this happen to the eye as well?
No, this actually happens to the eye. There was this a couple years ago. There was a artist who does a lot of different perspective art installations. And he went and did this art installation of a hole that is in the middle of a area. Now the hole is
a classic like Roadrunner Coyote, like just hole in the ground.
Except for the fact that the hole is actually about 8 feet deep. So it is actually a physical hole in the middle of this room. And then he painted the inside of the hole with the Vantablack.
Wow.
And a dude fell into it.
Well,
so
because he thought it was a painted hole?
Because he thought it was a painted hole. Yes,
he
exactly.
didn't think it was a real hole.
Exactly. So what you're saying with the Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote, where they would paint it on the side of a wall
and then actually fall through
a mountain. You could you could actually do this. So this dude actually literally fell through this hole in the ground, and it is about an 8-foot hole.
Because you can't see the bottom.
Look, here's the worst part.
Right.
The guy was
that would be terrifying.
A 60-year-old tourist fell in this hole. So it's not like
where was this?
Yeah, this was not in the United States.
No.
Because OSHA would have been like, no.
Yeah.
This is Portugal. Of course it was Portugal. I mean, Portugal just legalized all drugs recently, so
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, so it's a libertarian dream. That's right up your alley there, Mathis.
But anyway,
so was this the name? Wait, was this the name of his artwork installation? Descent into Limbo.
Yes.
Was that the name of it?
Yes.
Yes.
Anish Kapoor.
So is this what? So I would have assumed it wasn't in Portugal. I'd have figured it was up in Russia based on Mathis's intro to the show.
We haven't talked about that one yet. We got to talk about that. That's an interesting story. The drilling down to Neverland. So yeah, that's just that.
So is this going to be an actual? So is this going to be an actual option on the BMW?
I would doubt it. I think it's more.
I think it'd be safe to drive.
I think legally it probably wouldn't be allowed.
Right.
Like, imagine if you just saw this giant black spot coming down the road. You're like distracted. Like, what the heck is that?
Right.
I mean, during the daytime, it would just look like a car with flat paint, right?
Now, I would say this probably has a lot of, I'm sure, military applications.
No,
because of stealth-wise. I mean, if you could not...
It's not going to be invisible, Mathis.
No, it's not invisible,
pictures.
but you won't see any lines. The point is, it just looks like a black blob driving down the road.
Right.
In the shape of a car.
No, a vaguely car-shaped blob.
Depending on which way you look at it. Yeah.
Right. You wouldn't be able to see it well.
If you see the profile view, yes.
Now, what I was thinking is
fine in the pictures.
Is when they do when they're doing all of their
what about
test cars and everything like that, they always paint them with this like really weird camo and stuff to keep them secret.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would be a great application. Is just boom, because you can't get any details off of like a camera or anything like that. So you'd never be able to figure out the shape of whatever new car it was. To
answer your question. You don't see a car at night anyways. You basically just see the lights off of the car. So as long as its lights are on.
Right, but if you're smuggling drugs in the black of night.
Or you're trying to pull people over for speeding. So probably all the new police cars will be painted in this.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Some Mad Max stuff right there.
Why did we all groan about that? It's not like any of us speed.
I never speed.
I actually don't anymore.
I don't. I honestly don't anymore. Man, that's looking at the pictures. It's so funky. The pictures are just so weird because you can't see any lines. There's nothing. There's no reflection. There's nothing.
Put it up. Yeah, put it up for our audience so they can observe the weirdness.
But it's still very clearly a car shaped like a BMW. I don't think you would have trouble seeing that driving down the road. I'm not.
Right, but the point is though, it's not that it's invisible. It's just details are lost. Like it looks like a silhouette.
So it's just gonna be a car shape. You're not gonna be able to tell if it's a Charger or a Challenger or a BMW X5 or a Chrysler 300 or whatever. You're not gonna see the shape of the contours on the vehicle.
Right. So theoretically, if you didn't know the distinguishing factors of the grill and the badge and everything else, you wouldn't be able to tell what type of car it was.
But it would very clearly be a car there. So I don't think that it would be unsafe. I think it would be kind of pointless for the company, because your cars would just be this blob driving around instead of this cool design.
Yes.
Perhaps.
I think this looks like. I think it's something that Elon Musk is going to grab and put on a Tesla.
He's going to pay
that completely looks like something that
you
should
wouldn't be able to
Tesla.
Hear it or see it.
SpaceX
right,
is
that would be terrifying.
Did something just pass me?
SpaceX rocket's going to.
By the way, I did actually get to ride in a Tesla a few weeks ago.
Whoa! Hold on.
Yeah.
When we come back, I need to know about this.
All right.
We'll be right back.
It is a cornhole tournament fundraiser. Cut the crap.
Ben's reaction.
I love the random guy that just screams as she's talking.
I love it. I love it so much.
I like the music too. The music goes with it.
Music is perfect.
Anyways,
yes.
Tombstone, you actually got to ride, and
I took a very short ride in a Tesla S3 up and down Haywood Road here in town.
Nice.
As we were looking for some place to eat lunch with my friend.
Good times.
It's got a lot of tech in it.
Okay. Hold on. You can't just go immediately to the tech.
What do you want to know about?
It was an S3, right?
Yeah.
What? You
wait. The right-hand passenger door didn't fit right.
What?
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, which is apparently not uncommon with those. But they were going to fix it. They were going to do replace the whole thing and repaint it.
You get to the car.
Yep. You unlock it with your phone.
You unlock it with your phone.
Key.
Okay, see that's
which I think is crazy.
Did he move it with his phone? Because I know you can do that too.
Did he pull it up to the door with his watch?
No.
That would be amazing.
No, you can do it with your phone.
He drove it like a regular car.
Oh man!
But it's really obviously the some of the just totally non-car person things that stood out to me. The front of the car is empty, so there's no engine obviously in the back. The batteries are underneath you.
That's true.
So that you have a front trunk and a back trunk.
That's cool. I guess
there's a tablet, so you don't have a speedometer on the dash. It's on a tablet slightly to the right of the steering wheel.
Interesting.
12-inch tablet. Yeah. So all your instruments and your GPS are there on that tablet.
Very interesting.
And let's see, it doesn't have a heads-up display or anything like that. Everything's on the tablet. There's nothing underneath the windscreen or anything.
Right.
It's really stupidly fast. Stupidly fast.
That was going to be my other
electric
question.
cars, the torque is amazing, is what I've heard.
It's got basically unlimited
time.
torque.
Did he put it in insane mode?
I don't think he has insane mode on that one.
Ludicrous speed?
Is it ludicrous? It's ludicrous or insane. There's
I think it's insane. Ludicrous is a Spaceballs reference.
I forget. It was really fast, just a normal mode.
What did it feel like not having an engine, like revving or hearing the noise of the engine? That must be.
You don't really miss it because most modern cars are so quiet, anyways. You don't really miss it.
It's true.
So I didn't really miss it one way or the other. It just it's just a car.
Did this model have any of the self-driving feature on it? And was any of that demonstrated to you?
It has a self-driving, and it was demonstrated.
How did that work?
So,
how was
it? It seemed to work fine. I mean, you'd obviously want to keep an eye on it.
Was it used on a highway environment or a start and stop side road environment, or how was that demonstrated?
Stop and start side road environment.
And you just let it stop and start, or the guy demonstrating it did?
So I don't think it can see red lights, so you have to stop it for red lights. But
like for traffic, it stopped?
Yeah.
Wow.
It'll stop if it sees a stop car in front of you.
That is huge.
So here's the interesting thing about Tesla. Like we're looking, and this again goes back to Andrew Yang's book. We're looking at a weird situation where the more stuff like this you get out in the wild, the more telemetry you can collect, and therefore the more accurate it gets.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a bootstrapping process, but it's going to get logarithmically faster as we go. So I really think self-driving cars, or mostly self-driving cars, will continue to get much better over the next 5-10 years. I don't know if it'll ever get space age where you just get in your driveway and it drives you to work while you take a nap or whatever. But
you're talking about this. I had just seen this article back in March. The same driver twice got caught essentially asleep while using his Tesla autopilot. Was out in LA.
Yeah,
people have video of it on
if
Twitter.
You're in stop and go traffic,
he's just like snoozing.
So if you're in stop and go traffic on the freeway, all it's doing is inching you forward.
No, but this was like at 75 miles an hour.
Oh, it'll do that. It'll do that too. I wouldn't sleep, but you could do it.
That sounds terrifying.
I'm telling you, the appeal of self-driving cars, I completely understand. If you're a commuter to work and you drive like an hour to work or whatever, if you can essentially spend your hour drive into work, like checking your emails for the day and like starting the day and returning some phone calls, so that you basically now your commute is part of your work. You could conceivably work a 7-hour day instead of a 9-hour day or whatever, because your commute in and home are both spent working.
Right.
And it's a use of your time versus just sitting here staring out the window at construction barrels and idiots.
From what I understand, self-driving cars within their limitations actually are very safe. And they'll continue to get safer and more flexible.
The problem is that 1 in a billion chance that it takes your life.
But when did this?
I assume it's got a disconnect switch like an autopilot. Like at any second, you can click it off and take it over.
I think you just mash the brake.
Right. I was going to say, what are the stats against actually driving the car, though? I mean, do we care once they become equal to or safer than the stats of driving yourself?
I think statistically, within their parameters, they're already safer.
They are, but it's that 1 in a billion chance. That
it's the fact that they can't think.
What scares people is that the car may not make the same decision that a human would make. Like if you have to choose to run over like 5 kids or one little old lady, like
Well, so for example,
trolley problems, basically.
Just last night, we were headed up for my grandfather's 80th birthday. We're headed up to meet the family to have dinner, and we're going down kind of a 2-lane, 55 mile an hour back roads. I see a van up ahead, slowing down, turn signal on to turn left, and there's vehicles coming the opposite direction. So we're obviously going to have to come to a stop because he's going to have to turn left. So I'm slowing down early, so that I may not have to come to a complete stop behind him. And I made it a habit when I'm going to come to a stop on a road to check my rearview mirror. And I look up in my rearview mirror, and the vehicle behind me, the small SUV behind me, is still just flying at 55 miles an hour. The guy's head down to the side, probably on his phone texting or something like that.
Yep.
I yell, "Oh, crap." My wife's like, what? Because she doesn't see anything, because in front of us, everything's just going normal. And in that instant, I'm like, I can't go left around the van in front of me waiting to turn left because there's traffic there. I got off the brake and hit the gas to eat up the cushion between me and that van. And at the last second, I went, oh, yeah, there's a shoulder on this road. And so I just dove onto the shoulder and swung around that van and kept going as I hear the tires behind me locking up. So I basically avoided being sandwiched between two vehicles.
Yeah.
Because I made that decision. A self-driving car is just going to stop for the car in front of you and let the car behind you pancake you.
Here's the thing. If the guy behind you was driving a self-driving car, it would have seen you long before he did.
And it would have stopped.
Right.
Would it have, though? Would it stop him with enough time? That's the question.
And if it was an electric car, it would have slowed him down enough time, too.
No, I guess.
It would have been very fast. Like the response time would have been.
And then I'm sure at some
faster than a human.
I'm sure at some extent you're going to have these cars talking to each other.
Right.
While on the road,
it will happen.
Yeah. It's not going to have the problem of one being a smart car and one not being a smart car.
The infrastructure for that actually, the technology already exists. The infrastructure doesn't exist yet. But I completely expect that infrastructure to show up in the next, 5 years.
But
you don't have to have electric cars. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a choice. I think it's going to be a collaboration between the insurers and the automotive manufacturers.
But what I'm saying is, do you want that control over your car? Like no, of course not. I can totally see myself being Will Smith in iRobot, where everybody's sitting in their self-driving car and he's driving the quote-unquote old car that he's still in control of, because I don't want.
I mean, I don't think you can't get rid of old cars. I'll always have an old car, but I think on new stuff it is entirely possible that basically the big car manufacturers are going to get together, if they haven't already. They probably already have, and we're going to say, hey, we would like to basically phase in this tech over the next 10 years so that within 15 years, 65% of the cars on the road have this technology.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, is that it's kind of like the idea behind the assault or the fully automatic firearms ban. Like you just have to create these trusts and keep the really old gun going. You can't buy a new one.
Probably what you'll see is probably won't happen on all roads. You'll probably see on certain roads that there will be some kind of switch. Like once you get on the interstate, it'll say to your car, hey, you're going in autonomous mode. Or once you get, whatever, maybe certain downtown really congested areas, there'll be a little sign next to the road and says your car is being switched to the, Greenville City Traffic Authority, whatever. And
so can you imagine the speeds that are attainable though on highways, like with autonomous vehicles?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could probably get more speed, but I don't know. It's like 80 miles an hour, which is what everybody drives here anyways, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, but autonomous vehicle, you can easily crank that up to 120 and never have an issue. And then, Tombstone, if you put wireless,
you have to worry about other things then. Like
if you put
what kind of tires you have, balancing.
Yeah, but I'm saying all things being the same.
Yeah,
and the autonomous car is properly managed. I think if we go to autonomous vehicles, I don't think vehicles are actually going to be owned by people anymore.
Everything will be more standardized.
I think it'll be standardized. I think that I think it'll be more of ride sharing in these core, like where you order a car and it shows up at your house and you jump in it. But can you imagine driving down the highway? I know that, you know that. Maybe. But can you imagine going down the highway 120 miles an hour? The car is wirelessly charging from a wire within the road,
from static, basically just picking up static,
like
transfer off the road.
Like you got with the phones where you set your phone on the pad and it charges wirelessly.
The trouble is like an electric train does now.
Right, exactly.
And we all get cancer and die.
The trouble is, at least with the solar roads, that stuff hasn't
Don't interrupt
worked.
our utopian dreams. What's that, Jeff?
I was reading some stuff the other day. I don't know. Mathis might just be saying running electrical through the roads, but like the experiments with solar roads.
The solar road.
Have been a total.
He's talking like a
total failure.
He's talking like a
but
brush.
It's so cool though.
They crack. They're more expensive. They don't work. They don't generate the electricity they said they would.
No. Solar roads is not what we're talking about. We're talking about like brushing.
Yes, but
brushing contacts.
But ideally, it would be nice to get to the point where you don't have to run power from power plants to do that. Can you imagine the drain on the grid for that?
Yeah, you're never going to get solar power. You're never going to get into solar power.
Yeah, it's like solar power and wind is never going to get to the point of.
At some point the left will wake up and realize that nuclear is the only way forward.
We got to have pocket nukes.
That
in every
day has
car.
not happened yet. I hope that it does happen, because once we all agree that nuclear is the way forward, we can focus on making it cheaper and
safer.
It'll be amazing. Right. It'll be amazing.
But right now, nuclear is incredibly expensive. But part of the reason it's expensive is because there's no coordinated effort to make it cheaper.
Well, so they're beleaguered by against it.
Yeah,
right. They're beleaguered by weird regulatory efforts and other problems.
So even 10 years ago, some of the stuff I remember from some of the classes in college almost 10 years ago now, there was someone who had done a presentation, a study on nuclear power and making the argument that it was better, safer, cheaper. And I remember the one thing that stood out for me from the presentation was that in the 3 Mile Island incident, and I think we've talked about this before, that yes, there was a meltdown, but unlike Chernobyl, okay, where it was, the D squad with tin foil and, some chemical masks trying to make energy, because that's just how the Soviet Union was. All the safeguards worked, and the stat that stuck out to me, and don't have the source for this because it was 10 years ago, but was that they were taking readings on the site after the meltdown and the cleanup and stuff, and there was more radiation coming off the coal-fired power plant next door than there was coming off the nuclear power plant, because the safeguards work.
Nuclear,
but everyone hears meltdown and freaks out.
Right.
The greatest thing is the storage of spent rods is probably the biggest logistical issue is where do you store? They're using Yucca Mountain, I know, or they shut that down maybe, I don't know, but just trying to figure out where to store spent fuel rods. Right. If we could get to the point with like SpaceX or something where chucking those suckers out in space, I mean, I guess we'd be space littering at that point.
I think we need to launch them into the sun.
But yeah, just launch our trash at the sun.
I know.
And eventually it'll burn up. Honestly, that is a legitimate solution if it could be cheap enough.
Seriously, like I think that could be a new business, like a new space business.
We don't need landfills.
We don't need landfills. We launch it into space. We launch just epic tons of trash into space.
The giant sun trebuchet.
Oh, that would be great.
If you could do it with a trebuchet instead of a rocket. Can you imagine the size of that trebuchet?
We need to just get all the pumpkin chunking guys together.
So the question is,
that's in your neck of the woods, isn't it, Ben?
That is exactly where that.
The question is, would that throw off like the Earth's feng shui or whatever? With like,
if that trebuchet chucked hard,
it would only throw it off if it were flat.
Oh, okay. And if you swung too hard, it might flip it over.
Wait. What do you mean if it were flat?
Well, okay, if it were flat on the back of the turtle, all right.
We know that you're read in because
if we're discussing back of the turtle versus regularly flat, then yeah, okay.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So glad I could contribute to this.
Okay.
We've really gone off the rails, but I'm loving it.
So you guys ever gonna give up your fossil fuel burning diesel engines?
I would
never.
I would give it up for my own personal nuclear plant in my garage.
Ooh, okay, there you go.
Easily,
I'd do that.
That's
too.
Not a contest.
Yeah.
I love engines, but I love cheap power more. So as long as we're not,
it comes back to the tombstone's freaking cheap.
As long as we're not going down the weirdly totalitarian dystopia route of outlawing all fossil fuels while not doing any nuclear power, which is the path we're on now. It's not that I have a problem with electric, because electric's awesome. I have a problem with crazy people like parading 16-year-old Asperger's girls across the Atlantic Ocean instead of flying them. Crazy stuff like that.
Oh goodness! Did you see that they flew a crew across the ocetion to take the boat back?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
But it's all
they bought carbon offsets.
It's all performative. Poor Greta. I actually feel sorry for her because she doesn't seem like she's really enjoying herself that much. But
did you guys hear it was Greenpeace? I think it was the founder of Greenpeace. Yes, this was it's the Friends of the Earth or whatever. He disappeared. He's still there.
Video. I'm here. The video part is having trouble.
It's okay. We don't need to see your face. No, someone was saying just the other day that carbon offsets were not actually. Oh, right. Here we go. This is Metro UK, of course. Extremely reliable, just as good as the sun. Sir Elton John's contribution to carbon footprints is no solution to Harry and Meghan's aviation emissions, Greenpeace UK's chief scientist has warned. Basically, what he ends up saying is carbon offsets do not actually alleviate the aviation emissions. Because remember, when everyone's flying to the climate change conferences, they're like, "Oh, we're buying a carbon offset," and they're like,
"Okay, so." In my mind, what I picture is like, we paid for 10 trees to be planted to take up the car.
Yeah, but that's not how it works.
What they're saying.
Well,
that's what they're saying, claiming, but that's not how it works.
That's what they're claiming. But yeah.
Because essentially what's happening is they're just donating to some company that says it's about fighting climate change, right? Is essentially how the carbon offset actually works. They're
planting trees or something. I don't
know. No. Because I read the article about the girl in the boat in the Atlantic and all that nonsense. And it talked about the carbon offsets they purchased to fly the crew to take the boat back over to Europe, to England. But
basically, Jeff,
it said in there it was a donation to some company, so it's not it's not actually a carbon offset. It's they're funding the people that are pushing the climate change agenda instead of actually just planting trees in the Amazon.
Right. Exactly.
Which we should talk about the Amazon before this is all over.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, so this is the carbon offset thing is the biggest scam ever. It's genius.
Making the money off it is a genius, and definitely he believes in capitalism.
Someone is making serious bank, and my hat is off. My hat is absolutely off to him.
Well, you haven't been wearing a hat the whole show.
That's a good point. I've been wearing a donut.
My favorite word is the word.
We got an issue in America. Too many good docs are getting out of business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country.
Back up, you creep.
And Bernie Sanders might run. Apparently, some folks really want to see a pot-smoking socialist in the White House. We could get a third Obama term after all.
It's true, guys. The Amazon is burning, gentlemen.
Apparently.
Well, was.
Like a distribution center down the road from my house?
If only.
You have a distribution down the road from your house?
I don't know. I was making that up.
That'd be sake of a story. Sick, man.
He gets delivery within 6 hours.
I have one down the road from my house.
I think of something, it shows up at my door.
They're inside your head. They're using Elon Musk's Neuralink.
I knew it.
That's good.
Anyway, Amazon's burning.
Yes, the Amazon is burning. Guys, the lungs of the world,
which produce nearly 20% of our oxygen.
That's bull crap, by the way.
Yeah,
because there's trees literally everywhere. I don't understand why the Amazon was ever considered to be that special.
Okay, so
there's a lot of like nice big fluffy trees there and everything. Like I get it, but
just to throw this out there right off the bat, because Jeff had to drop that coin of knowledge there. That 20% of the oxygen comes from there. The corn crop in the United States, produces 4 times the oxygen of the Amazon every year.
Produces 80% of the world's oxygen.
So
that's the other.
The rest of the world completely sucks.
Together we have 120% of the world's oxygen. So we're covered. And if the atmosphere ever catches fire, we're in deep trouble. Because we'll be all burned to a crisp.
So this week,
guys, this is probably the most frustrating story to me right now, despite politics and everything else, just because it's such an example of the nonsense.
This is a therapy session for you. Go ahead and talk. Share.
Well, it's just that all of these. I don't have that much to say, I guess. It's just all of these celebrities. You've got people from Hollywood celebrities to freaking French President Macron, however you want to say his name. Macaroni. They're all making these claims of this is terrible. Well, we're worried about this. The Amazon rainforest, which produces 20% of our oxygen, is on fire and it's a crisis. And we're going to the G7 summit and we're going to solve this, blah, blah, blah. So basically every single picture shared by these people is not a picture of the current fire in the Amazon. The Amazon is not actually experiencing a greater rate of fires than average.
And this is
actually
mostly
down a little bit from last
agricultural related
year.
fires, right? It's like clearing off fields and stuff like that, clearing brush. That was my understanding from reading.
I think that's how it started.
It's not like
it's how they catch. There are some wildfires, but wildfires there, I guess, are different than wildfires in the Western United States, and a lot of it is related to cultural, like clearing land for farming. And the open grassland, as Matt has indicated, like with the corn and stuff, creates just as much oxygen and uses just as much carbon as the forest. However, the real scientists are basically calling bull on this whole thing.
I don't want to miss the point. Losing parts of the Amazon is a tragedy. I think the Amazon is an amazing resource that we haven't even come close to tapping into. And so the loss of life and the loss of resources.
For saying tapping into.
I know. The loss of life and the loss of potential resources is cannot be mitigated.
Right.
We can't say that doesn't matter.
It's like any other time we call out sensationalization.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that there isn't an issue.
Right.
So, it's that the issue is not what they're making it, and so it's actually distracting from any real issues.
I think a lot of this has to do with Jair Bolsonaro because he's considered a reactionary.
Now, remember what he said last week?
What did he say?
Everybody needs to eat a little less so that they poop every other day.
I'm not going to pretend that Jair Bolsonaro is a paragon of stability and intellect. But he is considered to be a reactionary by most of the world, except for us, because he's great buddies with President Trump. And so he was culpable or considered to be culpable in whatever was going on, but I don't think that's the case, or his government was. I don't know. It's all politics.
It's interesting to me to see the level of the way that certain people with certain political leanings in my social media feeds lap this story up, though. So I saw some of these articles come out, and I was, because you know how the article started. I'm sure you all saw them. It was, 80% of the Amazon's on fire, whatever the Amazon's on fire. It's burning. It's this terrible thing, and no one's talking about it in the news. That's kind of what all the headlines were, is there's this massive fire that no one wants to talk about. That actually did catch my attention as clickbait, and I clicked on it and started reading about it. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting that there's some big fires going on. Why aren't people talking about it? And 3 news stories in, the evidence starts coming out that people aren't talking about it because it's not a massive fire. It's not an abnormality. It's the average dry season where things are burning. And it's all these other things we've already talked about. And it's very interesting to see all these other people that just lap this, the same people that lap up the Orange Man bad stuff. Okay. And don't get me wrong, the Cheeto Jesus saves people are just as crazy. But the people that lap up the Orange Man bad stuff with no thought are just like, guys, this is terrible. We have to do something about this. Or look, we raised this many $1 million for this stupid movie, but France is only donating this much money to the Amazon, or just these completely asinine statements about this. And it's like, you people vote. Your vote cancels out my vote in my state. This is frustrating.
I think what we're going to find is just like we have fires here that actually help promote growth in those forests. For instance, you have pine trees that literally have
never
to be
having
under
fire is not really healthy.
No,
for the
it's
ecosystem.
not a good thing.
Right. And so what they're doing is they're taking potentially a natural occurrence that has to happen or needs to happen to help out the forest, and they're going and blowing it up and going, oh my gosh, it's all this horrible things. But for instance, like with ours, you have certain forest fires that actually help promote growth because of the pine cones. Right. And certain pine trees need fire to be able to open up pine cones to produce the seeds and yada, yada, yada. But I think that the complete neglect of, is this something that is actually bad, or is this something that needs to happen?
It seems bad to us in the moment.
Benefits of it.
Yes. I saw an article within the last couple of weeks about I think it's Isle Royale here in Michigan. There's a small island. It's very pristine, and it's got a small population of wolves. It had one small wolf pack, and the wolves end up out there. It's also got a large
is this up in the UP, or
it's up in the UP, or it's an island, so it's in one of the lakes up in northern Michigan. And
what's it called?
I believe this was happening on Isle Royale. I think that's the island that it was happening on. I got to find which island it was happening on again, but I believe it was Isle Royale. And the wolf population has died. It became so inbred from being on this small island that it has died off. And the DNR is in the process of attempting to rejuvenate the wolf pack on the island by bringing in a couple wolves from different locations. And the whole thing is, the wolves originally got to the island on ice bridges that form in the winter. When the lake freezes over enough, they could get onto the island searching for food. And that's, I assume, how the elk herd got there as well. And the claim is they need to keep this wolf population going, and if they don't, then the elk herd's going to get too big, and it's going to strip the island of plants and stuff. But the article I found made some really good points about, is this not just the normal cycle of life? Like for hundreds of years, there was elk population, then there wasn't. The elk have been there much longer than the wolves are there. So that herd is going to somehow self-regulate its size anyways. The wolves come and go. So basically the claim the article was making is that for years, for eons before humans even found the island, different life forms have come and gone on the island. And it's the cycle of life. Wolves made their way onto the island. The population got too inbred. It died off. Now there's not wolves on the island for a while. But for whatever reason, we've picked this point in time where humans have to intervene and they have to put wolves back on the island. And they started with 3 wolves, and I thought it was interesting. One got sick and died. One ran back across the ice when the ice did freeze over and went back to where it was from. And they're still left with only 1 wolf on the island. And it's that same thing like you're saying with the fires, Ben, where it's just like there are things that seem like ecological disasters almost that have to happen in the cycle of the environment for the earth to perpetuate. And we've reached a level where we think science has to overcome those, and we have to keep everything in this like one snapshot of time.
Right.
And interestingly enough, the same people that believe that, though, are the people that heavily push theories of evolution, which to me seems like, well, isn't this just part of the cycle of evolution then? You know, so
one would think.
It's so the whole thing is convoluted. I mean,
it's amazing that we just don't have, like, you're looking at how many hundreds of years of research have we actually had to look back on to say, hey, this is our data that we've had to look back on to say, hey, this is actually an abnormality as opposed to being something that is normal.
Yeah, we don't have enough data to call the trend.
Right, because we're looking at it from a very, especially if you're considering that the Earth is millions of years old, you're looking at a very, very, very minute point in time comparative to however many thousand, this may happen every 1,000 years. This may happen every 300 or 400 years.
Yeah.
But we weren't paying attention to it 200, 300 years ago.
Right.
Because it wasn't part of what we were observing.
Well, it just goes to show you how much of science and everything is part of our perspective. What we see, what we're observing, where we're seeing it from, and what our preconceived biases are really affect what we want to believe.
I have no biases, just so everybody knows.
Of course you don't. Of course you don't.
Unbiased.
I'm completely unbiased.
As you can tell by my rants.
Guys, I want to real quick, we've got only a couple minutes left. The world's deepest hole in the world is in Russia. 40,000 feet, and it's only covered by a rusty Soviet metal lid.
Is that picture actually the picture? Like,
yes,
is it really just
yes,
in the,
it is.
Hang on.
Oh, I want to see. This. Wait. Where is this thing?
That is the picture. That is the hole. It is in a half destroyed building. And there's the pipe going down into it.
It's the well to hell.
Yes.
How do I not see this? Oh, there it is.
40,000 feet. It was started in 1970.
Why are you making me go to the Sun?
You can go to any other site and find the same article.
I was really expecting to be able to fall into this hole.
I remember reading about this when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. And I saw it pop back up, and I was like, we got to talk about this.
It's not a very big hole. It's a small hole.
It's 20 centimeters.
You couldn't squeeze a Mathis down it.
No, not a chance. Yeah, it's 20 centimeters.
It's more like
wide.
A bore. It's more like a borehole. It's not like a
23 centimeters wide.
Right.
Yeah.
I would not fit down it.
And so, how big is 23 centimeters? I mean, it's not big. It's like a large, like a grapefruit.
Yeah. Just so the audience knows, it's about that big.
Yeah, that's good point.
So good point. It's basically 9 inches. 9 inches.
That would be about 23 centimeters.
9 inches. That's how big the hole is.
This hole is 40,230 feet deep. It's the deepest man-made hole on Earth.
It's deeper than the Marianas Trench.
Is it?
Yeah.
What did they find when they drilled?
Yeah. What did they get out of this thing?
I assume just rock.
They found a bunch of bacteria and crap down in the bottom.
Yeah.
That sounds
It says they had to stop because the temperature was 180 degrees Celsius, which was far hotter than the scientists predicted it would be.
What is that in Fahrenheit? 180 degrees. It's not that hot. You should be able to drill, right?
It is.
180
I don't know. It could be the ambient temperature.
356 degrees.
So probably the bit was not able to shed heat. Probably was the problem.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
So they should have redesigned that. They should have redesigned it. Put cooling tubes or something.
It's the Soviet Union.
40,000 feet of cooling tubes.
They were too busy trying to solve Chernobyl.
Maybe. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And so they
started in 1970s and ended in 92 though. So they were still drilling in our lifetime.
Yeah, I mean it's a deep hole. It's a super deep hole.
It is actually 7.5 miles. Just over 7.5 miles.
So put this into perspective. If you fell down the hole, which you can't because we can't fit, it would take 3.5 to 4 minutes to reach the bottom.
It's a long time to fall.
That's a long fall, guys.
That is a long fall.
That's incredible.
Is that including the time, air friction and that kind of stuff, or
I don't know? You do the calculation.
What's weird though is it looks like it's just because the picture zoomed in on the hole, which the cover bolted over it, and of course the picture of the building, it's literally
derelict.
Just a building sitting in the middle of a field with like half of the wall broken out and the roof missing.
It's typical Russian building.
It looks like a plumbing pipe that you would, like if I stumble, I don't know what the larger room looks like, but if I stumbled across that in the floor, I'd be like, oh, this is where the drain was.
Oh, right. You would,
yeah, definitely.
You wouldn't think that, I could fall down that hole.
It doesn't look like a research thing at all.
No, well, that's typical Russian. When they're done with stuff, they just throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
They're just done with it. We don't want anything to do with it. We'll just let it rot. Leave it there. That's Tombstone at thefrontporchshow.com for anyone who thinks
guys.
I bet the Russians.
I think we should. I think we should buy the site and start drilling back up.
I think
keep it going.
I would love to find out what's deeper. Why not? So how far is it down? Like, so this is what, 7-8 miles?
Yeah, about 7.5.
7.5 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long distance.
That's quite a distance. They have this map of, or this little diagram here of how tall you have for all these random buildings to compare it to. So
yeah, that's where it's showing. It's deeper than the Marianas Trench.
Yeah.
that's
So
pretty impressive.
They have drilled farther than 40,000 feet before. I think it was the Russians, Exxon Mobil, off the coast of Russia. It was either Russia or Alaska. Anyways, they have a drill rig set up on land, and they do the horizontal drilling. So they drill down a couple thousand feet, and then they drill sideways.
So you're saying the total distance was farther?
So total distance for Exxon is farther, but this is the deepest. Yeah, this is the deepest.
Right. So you're talking about pressures are going to be completely
my point
different.
being is that modern technology is advanced to the spot where they could theoretically fire this sucker back up and keep on drilling. I think
that's only if we have like a disaster and our core needs to be restarted, then they'll go back.
You know what honestly what bummed me out about this story is I found out the core movie was complete bunk.
So what are you talking about? That is a lie. That is fake news.
They didn't get deep enough to find out if it's bunk.
It was completely accurate.
I'm just
wait, guys, just so you know, so we can take this story super seriously. Here's the end of the article after some ads.
Great.
In other news, archaeologists are trying to solve the mystery of a 10th century skeleton that was used as Nazi propaganda. The lost body of doomed pilot Amelia Earhart may have been stolen by giant crabs, experts reveal.
But that's actually true.
And a mystery. Yeah,
how would you know
the word
that?
stolen is weird. And a mysterious new type of pollution is washing up on Britain's beaches in the form of plastic pebbles. So there you go.
What's wrong with any of those?
Nazi propaganda skeletons, giant crabs, and plastic pebbles.
So that's actually true though with Amelia Earhart. That is the theory, is that they landed in shallow water in the airplane, and that the crabs on the island actually disposed of their bodies.
Maybe.
Well, yeah. Again, stolen's the wrong words.
Give me a break.
She crashed, and
that's like saying, hey, you know what? They could have crashed in the ocean, and a shark could have eaten her.
Guys, let's just be honest. JFK, Elvis, Amelia Earhart, they're all hanging out together.
Although Steve Jobs is alive, though.
He is. Steve Jobs is alive and well, according to pictures on Twitter.
Oh my!
You guys didn't see those?
No, I saw it. I just don't care that much about Steve Jobs, whether he's alive or dead.
I think it's plausible, guys. He may very well be alive.
They probably brought him back from the well of hell. Or what?
Turns out we're bringing people up through the hole.
That's why they bolt the lid on it.
Oh, man. Yeah, Steve Jobs died 2011 at the age of 56, pancreatic cancer, which is gnarly, guys.
Yeah, that's
crazy
terrible
stuff. Like pancreatic cancer, I don't know if there's a cure for pancreatic cancer. Like you're gone. Like it's just a matter of time, isn't it?
Right.
Anyways, he was seen in Egypt, hiding in Egypt, wearing his quintessential sandals and just sitting there with the glasses on. It looks like him.
It does look like him. There's not like a really good like full on shot of his face, the front of his face.
So like, do you guys think that out there in the world, I mean, given all the possibilities of DNA and everything, do you guys think that like you have a lookalike out there? Like, is that?
I mean, it's possible.
I think it's completely plausible. Yeah, with how many people are out there, and there's got to be at least somebody that's very similar to. I don't know if identical. But yeah, I would say yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's super weird to think about.
I don't want to admit there's somebody else with this beautiful face.
Or that mustache, man.
Yeah.
Yes, the stash.
Rocking the stash. Man.
Okay.
Telling you.
Sounds like he's burned out.
Yeah, guys.
I'm ready.
We're done, guys. Thank you for listening to the Front Porch Show. We love what we do. We love bringing you the show. Check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. Anywhere else you want to listen to us, you can find us. Just search for us. We're there.
Or thefrontporchshow.com.
Or thefrontporchshow.com. That's true. Facebook, Twitter, all those other fun places too. We'll catch you next time. Later.